determined that I wasn't going to let emotions bother me. Give me just a minute. Ronnie's been a good friend of mine since I remember him, and in return for what he said about me, I have to say that I've never heard a bad word about Ronnie either. He's a good Christian man. He's just an asset to have as a friend. He's an asset to call a friend. And I wanted to know, I appreciate what he had to say about me tonight. I'm not sure it was all true. I do remember.
I did stretch a little bit about it.
He did stretch a little. I think probably the big man was probably Frank Hodges. I would guess that's who it is. Some of you probably remember Frank Hodges. He was a big man. He came to my house one night, or one day, and we visited a while, and we walked through the utility room and continued to visit because we've become good friends. And he backed up to my washing machine like you would just back up and lean against it. Instead of backing up and leaning against it, he just back up and sit down. I mean, this man was close to 7 feet tall. I really don't know just how tall he was. But we used to like to visit and talk and at the trials, and he was so tall and I was so short that it made my neck hurt to try to talk to him. So I'd tell him, Frank, we got to find a stump somewhere, and we'd find a stump, and I'd get up on the stump, stand and talk to him so I could look him in the eye. He was quite a guy. He was really a good guy, and I'm guessing that's probably who the big man was that he spoke to. Before I get started saying anything, and I'm not going to drag this out because I'm not a speaker, but we missed one person today that I wanted to mention, and that's Beverly Cross. She does the SPO website, and I'm not a computer literate person. Should be, and one day I'll have to be if I continue in the kind of work I do. But we want to thank her for all the dedication and stuff she's done for SPO Beagling. Let's give her a round. Sorry I didn't get that a while ago. I had it on my list, and I write little notes, and I write them all at different angles, and then I start turning it around, trying to figure out what I've got to and what I hadn't. I've got some notes in my pocket. I'm not gonna get them out. I'm just gonna say thank you. I appreciate you. You are, without a doubt, the best people in any sport that a person can be involved in this country, this free country that we live in. I've been involved in some Little League ball. I coached some Little League ball for a while when my sons were that age. They're grown now. My oldest was 40 years old, so if that gives you any idea how old I am, I'm not going to go any further with that. But anyway, I noticed that all the other sports I've had any involvement in, that the people are kind of self-centered. They look at what they want and what they earn and what they can do. In the beagling sport, I knew that this bunch of people was good folks. I knew that. Hadn't thought about it a lot, but in the back of my mind, I knew what kind of people they were. But as most of you know, and it's been mentioned here a time or two tonight, I had some health problems. And when he first got to me, well, I thought, well, this is no problem, and I thought I had treatments and surgeries and stuff, and supposedly was okay. But as luck had it, I don't know why it happened, and I don't question why it happened, but it came back. And word got out, and a lot of the word got out because of Tony Show and Fred Sheets. I think, my understanding, that they told a good many people or put it on the internet or something, and I started getting letters and calls, and I got one letter in particular, and I got it from a beagler that I've known for a good many years, and I knew he was a good man. I didn't realize, I just hadn't thought about what he was, and that was Scotty Pinnell. Scotty wrote me a little letter and told me that they were praying for me, and everything's going to be all right. He gave me a phone number and told me if I needed to call him or talk to him. I never called him back, but I kept that. I've still got it, and I'm going to keep it. And then I got letters, and I got calls, and I got get well cards, Another good friend of mine sitting up here close to the front called me once a week or more often. That's Mr. Jim Odom. Good friend of mine, good man. He even told me, said, I'll take you to the doctor to get you treatment. Said, just let me come see you. And he never did do it because I put him off. I knew it was a long way, but he would have. He would have made that trip and he would have come. But what I'm saying is you guys are by far the greatest people involved in any sport. I appreciate you more than you could possibly think. I love all of you from the bottom of my heart. You're great people. On the phone, I'd heard he'd been sick. I run into a friend of mine in North Louisiana, and he said, "Have you heard Don Copeland's sick?" And I said, "No, I haven't." He said, "Well, he is." And I said, "Well, I'm going to call him as soon as I get home." Well, that's 2.5, 3-hour drive. And I drove home and had it on my mind, but I didn't make the call. But about 20 minutes after I got in the house, I put my dogs up and fed them, took care of them. Been in the house maybe 20, 30 minutes. The phone rang. It's Don Copeland. I don't know how he knew I was going to call him, but he called me. And we hadn't talked in probably 6 months, a year, I don't know, a pretty good while. And we kind of talked to each other about being sick, and I wanted to know what was wrong. And we confided in each other some, and we talked about the sport and what it meant to us. And I made a comment to him that field trialing was not as important to me, and I didn't mean it, before I finish, let me say, I didn't mean it that it wasn't important, but to win a field trial was not as important to me now as it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I thought when I went to a trial that I had to win. If I didn't win, that wasn't a good day. That's how competitive I was. Still like to win. I still like to win occasionally, but that's not important anymore. What's important is to come meet you guys, visit with you guys, socialize with you, and be friends with you. And he made the comment, he said, "That's exactly how I feel." And he said something else that really stuck with me. He said, "And if you win or place, it's just a bonus. It's just something extra that you got out of it, because the important thing is not winning a field trial, but it's all the friends that you're going to make along the way." And in my 35 or 40 years of this sport, but I made a bunch of friends. And I've heard that saying, that a man never has but one real friend in his life. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe I got a room full.
Oh, yeah.
I really do. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate what you did for me. You're a good bunch of people. Thank you.
Thank you.